Well, y'all, we finally got it. Today, we are taking a look at our very first peek at real American Marksman gameplay footage that was shared by the developers, and we have more than just this clip here, but to see that, make sure you keep watching. And also, just to go ahead and clarify, the gameplay that y'all are going to be watching in the background is in Off-Road Outlaws, and I just wanted to go ahead and clear that up right out of the gate so there was no confusion about that at all. Now, the second American Marksman clip, which is the most recent one that the developers have shared as of recording this video anyway, actually features some in-game sound, which is really, really interesting because it gives us an idea of what the atmosphere of the game is going to look, feel, and sound like. And I'm going to let y'all watch that with no commentary at all, and then we're going to go back over it again and break it down. Now, while this is a very short loop of gameplay footage, it does give us a little bit of an idea of how immersive the sound design is going to be, because you can hear the player's footsteps in the grass. You can actually hear your boots crunching the blades of grass underneath you as you walk around. And I think sound design is going to be a really, really big focus of this game, and it could actually mean that the experience will be genuinely improved by playing in headphones. So after seeing some of those snippets of gameplay, where do y'all sit about this game? What are your thoughts? What are your concerns? What are you excited about moving forward? What are you concerned about moving forward? Let me know in that comment section down below so we can get a little bit of a conversation going. And of course, I will be down in the comment section as well, answering any questions, or at least trying to answer any questions that y'all may have. And hopefully, we will be able to figure out more about this game very, very soon. Now, I'm sure that there are going to be questions about when is it going to come out, when is the release date, you know, when are we getting more information on a concrete release date for this game. And we don't really have a concrete release date from the developers just yet. You know, these games, they take time. However, the last time the developers said anything about release dates, they hinted at the fact that the game could be about a month out, which was a few days prior, so maybe in or around 30 days from now. Now, we can't really pin that down. We can't say, well, it's going to be exactly 30 days from now, but when they did say about a month, I mean, you know, like, a month or so is not a bad estimation, and if you're estimating about a month away for release, I'm inclined to believe them. Now, I know that there's gonna be people in the comments, and I've seen them in the comments of my videos, I've seen them in the comments on, like, the developer's Facebook page, where people say things like, oh, well, they may say 30 days, but it's not actually gonna come out anytime soon, and I'm like, here's the thing, you know, I don't necessarily believe that, because if they didn't feel confident in saying, you know, around a month or so, or around 30 days, why would they be saying that? You know what I mean? Why would they be saying, oh, it'll be out in around like 30 days from now, if they had no idea, or if they knew it was going to take like another 3-4 months? Why would they say 30 days? They wouldn't do that, because there would be no reason to get a community hyped up for a game that isn't coming in that time frame, you know? So I feel pretty good about the estimate that the developers gave, because I don't think they would have given that estimate if they weren't comfortable giving it. Now, briefly, just to break off of the American Marksman topic for a moment and talk about the gameplay y'all are seeing on screen right now, this is, of course, once again, Off-Road Outlaws, but we're on a map that I have never actually been on before called Hell's Edge, and this map, honestly, will redefine your idea of what a challenging crawler map actually is. Like, this little Willys Jeep that I brought out here, this will normally do pretty well on most crawling maps. Here, I felt like I was in a stock vehicle that could barely do anything. And in order to actually get up and over any of these obstacles, I had to build a monster suspension crawler rig that still was having trouble. So if you want a genuine challenge as far as crawling goes and obstacle challenges go in Off-Road Outlaws, check out Hell's Edge, because it is an absolutely wild ride. Now, another thing that I think is definitely worth noting in terms of the gameplay that we looked at earlier is that even though this footage is a little bit grainy and might not be the highest quality, you can see that this was actually taken in multiplayer, because over on the top left-hand side of the screen, there is a room code. So multiplayer, in terms of at least a development build, is already working and is already being worked on. So it seems like it's going to function on exactly the same kind of framework that Off-Road Outlaws functions on and that No Limit Drag Racing 2.0 functions on, which is, of course, creating a lobby and then having a lobby code. Now, if they are running on basically the same architecture, that also means that the lobbies are going to have the same size limit and the same player limit as both Off-Road Outlaws and No Limit Drag Racing 2.0. Now, is that a bad thing? No, not necessarily, but is it a good thing? I don't know if it's a good thing either. Like, it's kind of one of those things that I'm indifferent about, because this lobby system, as y'all know, this lobby system has its pros and cons, right? You know, when we try to do open lobbies, we generally always run into issues with the lobby size not being large enough, and then, in turn, it becomes a bit awkward because I want to be able to give you guys, as much opportunity to get into a lobby as possible, but with a lobby size, that is really small, it's kind of inevitable that people will sometimes feel left out. And not only that, but you always end up having issues with, people coming in for multiple rounds when we try to have a pretty strict-ish one-round policy, to try to make it a little bit more fair. And of course, another one of the realities of hosting open lobbies is that you will occasionally run into trolls that will come into your lobby and will basically try to make your game crash or try to make everybody's game crash. And that's why I would really like to see, this multiplayer framework that runs in Off-Road Outlaws and No Limit Drag Racing and, soon to be American Marksman. I would really like to see a kick and or ban system incorporated. Now, obviously, I don't think a ban system would be very easy to do, but I do think a vote to kick system might be a good idea. However, on the flip side of that, you might wonder, well, will the vote to kick system, like if a vote to kick system was put into the game, would people actually use it properly, or would they just use it to kind of continue that trolling and griefing? And I'm kind of split on it, right? I'm back and forth. Because if there's someone like trolling and griefing your lobby, you could either have a vote to kick system where you could actually vote to kick somebody, or you could leave that session and start a new session, and then your friends could follow you to the new session with the new code that person might not know. The only problem with that is that, if one person ends up getting into your lobby and is deliberately trolling your session or deliberately messing with your session, you don't necessarily want to have to back out and start a whole new session just to get away from that behavior. You know what I mean? So that's why I think a vote to kick system would be a nice addition. And, you could actually, if you weren't interested in having that system turned on, you could actually make it so that it was a choice you had to make when you started the lobby. Like, do you want vote to kick on or off for this lobby? Now, again, I don't know if they're going to do this or not. They haven't said they have any plans to do anything like this, but I think, it would be really, really nice for a lot of people that, not only just me, because I host open lobbies in these games and I have a lot of experience doing that, but I think it would be nice for people that are just playing the game, like on their spare time, because sometimes they do run into people that will just come in and troll their lobbies when they're just trying to have fun with their friends. And I think that at the end of the day, having fun with your friends should be the main priority of the multiplayer experience, and giving people the tools to be able to kind of secure that experience a little bit better, especially against trolls and things like that. I think that should be the number one priority. And even outside of, like, I might sit here and say, well, it would make the experience of hosting open lobbies better, for somebody like me. And while it would, my main priority would be making the experience better for y'all, because that's the priority at the end of the day, is making the experience better for the players. And I think a a multiplayer vote-to-kick system would genuinely improve the multiplayer experience of this game's player base as a whole. And not just Off-Road Outlaws' player base, but Off-Road Outlaws, No Limit Drag Racing, and soon to be American Marksman. But even though we kind of went a little bit off the rails with that vote-to-kick system discussion, I think it was definitely worth bringing up, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below on that as well. But that's going to do it for this video, y'all, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time.